Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Tuesday. Okay, guys. Well, I guess for everybody except for the Gorgas because Jacqueline Larita is going in. And I don't know why, but she is. So before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. I will be leaving here, headed back to my studio tomorrow. I love Hilton Head. I got to go back to Charleston, but I will still be doing Hot Messy on Friday. And I'm recording another episode of the Salty Podcast right after this with Monica. So that's coming as well. But I think we covered all of like the beginning intro stuff, and I finally got the dogs to lay down so they're not unplugging my mic. So let's get into the show.
Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Okay, guys, Jacqueline Larita has entered the situation. I don't know if I'm going to be good on her or if I'm going to be rough on her because today I'm feeling some kind of way. Now, thank you to All About the Real Housewives. Jacqueline Larita reveals why Kathy Wakili and Richard Wakili will never move forward with Melissa and Joe Gorga. The OG and former Real Housewives of New Jersey star Jacqueline Larita is speaking out on her experience on the Real Housewives. Jacqueline spoke with All About the Real Housewives podcast and agreed to answer listener questions as far as her experience on the show. Jacqueline was on the Real Housewives for 7 seasons. The show followed Jacqueline Larita's struggle to conceive, her relationship with her sister-in-laws, her friendship and the dynamic between her and her teenage daughter. Larita also found herself in the middle when it came to Teresa, Melissa, and Kathy's family drama. At one point, Melissa and Joe were extremely close to cousin Kathy and her husband, Richard, as they both joined the Real Housewives of New Jersey together for season 3. But things turned when Kathy and Rich, when they left the show and never heard from Melissa Gorga. Now, Jacqueline Larita is speaking out on why Kathy would never move forward with Melissa and Joe. This is what she said. The way she treated Kathy was so bad, like she would get Kathy worked up behind the scenes and then gaslight her on camera. The second she didn't have use for Kathy anymore, she completely dumped her. And then she went publicly and was like, oh, they're just jealous that we're still on the show and they're not. And like you say that about someone you care about. And then she changes the narrative later to say, oh, we stopped talking to them because Teresa wanted us to. Now, years ago, Melissa Gorga told Andy on Watch What Happens Live that Kathy and Rich were bitter that Melissa and Joe were still on the show, and that's why they stopped speaking. Jacqueline pointed out to All About the Real Housewives podcast, adding that now the Gorgas are blaming Teresa for the relationship ending. But it was actually the comments made by Melissa, and Joe following Kathy's exit that is the real reason that Kathy has no plans to move forward. Jacqueline added, if that were the case, if that were true, you would have given your cousin, who's always been there for you, the respect of a phone call to say, hey, we're trying to work on our relationship with Teresa. And a little tension if we love you, but, let's take a break for a little bit while we're filming. And as we were trying to work things out, if that were true, but it wasn't true. And that's why she completely ignored Kathy and, changed her narrative from you're just jealous, we're on the show, and then to think, Kathy is going to jump at the chance of being her friend. It's insulting. Jacqueline also touched on Joe Gorga's latest comments on Richard, where he labeled him rude and nasty after he snubbed him during a run-in and didn't say hi to him. Why would they want anything to do with them after all of the stuff that they've said about them publicly? When Kathy and Rich have kept their mouths shut, they haven't said anything about them publicly. They keep to themselves. They don't say anything. And the Gorgas are the ones that keep throwing these little seeds out there about them. And then all of a sudden you expect them to like jump now and want to be your friend? What? I mean, if what Jacqueline is saying is true, that would be very shitty on the Gorgas. But I feel like there's so much more to it. I feel like I honestly do believe that Teresa was good because I know that the family issues go deep seated. I think she was good on Kathy and Rich. She said that multiple times on the show. And I think in order for Joe and Melissa to move on with Teresa, Joe needed to have Teresa's back because she always said, "You're my brother. You're supposed to have my back. You're my brother. You're supposed to have my back." So to me, Melissa and Joe's version of this seems to kind of check out, where Teresa wanted them to not talk to Kathy and Rich because Teresa felt like Kathy and Rich, that they were hurting her family. You remember, because Kathy said on TV that Teresa left her kid walking around and she could have gotten hurt or something, the baby, and Teresa was pissed. And that was the point, I think, that where she crossed the line, and it got a little sick from there. But hold on, it doesn't stop there. Jacqueline Larita also explains where Joe Gorga went wrong in regards to his relationship with his sister Teresa. Okay. When speaking to All About the Real Housewives, Jacqueline explained where Joe Gorga went wrong in regards to his relationship, explaining, "I think from watching the show, like you were saying, how Chris didn't get involved watching the show, you can see for the most part, Joe was throwing his sister under the bus every chance possible. Like, he should have stayed out of it and talked to Melissa about it off camera, and to not disrespect Melissa. But he would also join in talking about Teresa, and that's where he went wrong." Jacqueline elaborated with an example saying, even from the first day of filming, at the christening, even though Teresa was so angry at them for coming on the show the way that they did behind her back and then everything, she was just going to go on pretending like everything was great between them. And she put her arms around her brother and asked him, what he was doing. And then that was the first day of filming. He called her out on camera. "Oh, go away like you always do. Ignore us like you always do." And Jacqueline added, "If you were coming on the show, like Melissa said, just for the opportunity, like she claims it was, she wouldn't have exposed their animosity on camera. They made it very clear that they wanted to, and I think Melissa was a little jealous of Teresa's fame. She wanted to be on display every day. And I think that shows that they had ill intent coming on the show in the first place." I need to hear from a third party source, because honestly, I feel like this version of what Jacqueline Larita is telling All About the Real Housewives, we were back in the time, the space, the place that Jacqueline and Teresa were in before they met back up in Vegas, then I feel like Jacqueline would have buried Teresa on this podcast. But now that they're getting along and Jacqueline doesn't talk to the Gorgas, I think she shifted and she's friends with Teresa. She's not friends with the Gorgas. So I think that it's going to go in favor of Teresa. But that's why I'm like, I wish we could talk to like a producer about it. Somebody who's not biased, but somebody who was there, who really, really saw the shit hit the fan. Then that's how you know. But really, I want to hear what you guys think, because at the end of the day, it's always going to be, everybody's going to have their own side. Kathy and Rich have their side. Teresa has her side. Joe and Melissa have their side. Jacqueline's going to defend Teresa. Kim D is going to defend Teresa. Like, they just all have their sides. It's kind of, it is what it is. That's life. That's life. Pop off in the comment section. If you guys are not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you in a little bit. See you on Friday, guys. That's when we're doing our next Hot Messy. Love you guys. Bye.